In today's episode of Digimon Ghost Game, we tackle mummies and a night at the museum. Following the strong start of episode 1, we continue with the streak by having episode 2 being solid as well, though it does kind of fall apart near the end. But before we get going, if you like this video, make sure to click that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. Much appreciated. Episode 2 of Ghost Game continues with making me question how this is a kid's show, with its blend of horror and dark imagery. This time, we have a mummy on the loose, who, to no one's surprise, is called Mummymon. His plans aren't fully explained except for vague details about how he's gonna make his victims immortal, but it just looks like he grabs people, wraps them up, and leaves them to die in his nest of mummified victims, who, by the way, are all still awake and fully aware of their state. There's a scene near the end where you hear these people crying for help, resigning to their fate and begging not to die. It's actually really messed up, especially if this is meant to be a kid's show. So anyways, Hero and Gammamon don't do much in this episode, and they don't even bother trying to explain what Digimon are or where they come from. Hero does ask Gammamon these questions, but obviously he doesn't know anything. We just watch these two get food and eat. That's really it. Mummymon is the star of this episode, as he reigns terror to this town. His gimmick is that he learned about mummy medicine from the museum and wanted to do that. But then this makes no sense, since he was always Mummymon before he learned about mummies from Earth. How Hero meets Mummymon is dumb too, since he just reads one article about this urban legend and then decides to check it out. He stays the night at the museum, and there you go, Mummimon's there. Nothing clever or anything to tie these two together, unlike the last episode where Clockmon attacked him and his friend earlier on. He literally just read it in the paper and fast traveled there to fight the boss. One thing I realized watching this episode is how useless Hero actually is. He doesn't do anything except stand there and watch, or get caught up in the trouble where Gammamon has to bail him out. If Hero was a Pokemon trainer, he'd suck at it. The episode's real focus though is Gammamon, as he digivolves into Battle Gammamon near the end to take out Mummymon, but it's not earned in the slightest. In a bizarre way to get a power-up while watching a friend get hurt, Hero and Gammamon rattle off a list of food they ate early on, and then he digivolves. What makes this even weirder is that he gets one attack that basically does no damage. And then Hero scolds Mummymon about how mummy medicine is outdated and there's new ways to do medicine. This somehow mind breaks Mummymon, who can't compute this and suddenly turns face. He frees everyone and says his goodbye to Hero and leaves. And then it ends. It feels like they wrote themselves into a corner with this one, since the ending is really abrupt. Maybe they decided to rewrite the ending to fit the current climate of COVID and vaccines, but I ain't about to touch that topic, so. Anyways, episode 2 is still pretty good, and that is because it doesn't shy away from the spooky, scary stuff. It's not like they went hard for the debut to get people's attention and then tone it down later. I would say this episode has more scary imagery since the actual mummies in the museum looked horrifying. Plus, Mummimon's lair of wrapped up victims who are all screaming is really twisted. Anyways, I'd say check out this episode. Definitely a good follow-up to the debut. Let me know in the comments what you think about this show and its scary imagery. I would love to know if it's just me that thinks it's insane to have this kind of stuff in a kid's show. Until next time, see ya.